A couple of days ago, the solar eclipse ended up happening, and that is something that is an extremely big deal for a lot of people. Mainly because a lot of them are willing to fly across the whole world just so they can go and see this event, even though it only lasts for a couple of minutes. But I'm gonna be honest, I don't really blame people for doing that, because it could be something extremely beautiful to see. It could be an extremely nice day outside, looking absolutely amazing, just for the moon to pass over the sun, and it looks like it's the middle of the night. And during that time, you can record some very cool videos, take some nice pictures, and especially if you're able to see the eclipse when you're on an airplane, man, I absolutely love seeing those videos. So it could be a really nice event. But that is not the only reason why the solar eclipse is extremely special. Another reason why is that every single time when this happens, the internet will be flooded with some of the most craziest conspiracy theories that you will ever hear. Now, this is something that's not really that new. I remember when the last solar eclipse ended up happening in 2017, there were some people posting some insane things on Twitter, but the theories that we ended up seeing this year is somehow 10 times even more insane and also just make less sense. And I want to go and just talk about some. Now, I think the first one that we all knew that this was going to happen is tons of people saying that the solar eclipse is going to be the ending of the world. This is something that's not really that new. I feel like every single couple of years, there'll be a brand new theory that'll just come out of nowhere that tons of people just believe immediately. Of people saying the world is going to end and this is going to be the date. Make sure you have everything prepared because it's over. Just for that day to come and absolutely nothing happens. And the thing that always makes stuff like this extremely funny is that every single time when this happens, when you try to go and talk to the people who are basically pushing this theory around, they will only do two things. One, they just completely run away and you never see from them or hear them ever again. They just completely destroy their digital footprint. Or two, they just completely pretend that they never said it. Like, you can go and confront them and go like, hey, what made you believe that the world was going to end this day? And they'll just act like a complete NPC, going like, what? Me talking about the ending of the world? I will never do something like that. So there were tons of end of the world theories going around. Like, I heard one that a lot of people are pushing, saying that when the solar eclipse happened, it was going to be 3 days of just eternal darkness. This was all over Twitter, which just made absolutely no sense to me, because why now? Why would this one suddenly be the time where the moon will just pass over the sun and go like, you know what? I'm just gonna stop working and just stay here so the world can be dark. And I also don't think that apocalypse will also be that much of a big deal. It will just be night for 3 days. And then when it's over, everything will be completely fine. But I also take that back immediately, because if people truly just lied to themselves that this was going to happen, I wouldn't know how the world will be able to handle if it actually did happen. These theories ended up getting so big, and a lot of people were so terrified of this solar eclipse that in some states they were begging the mayor of it to stop the solar eclipse. Yes, this is something that actually happened. I have absolutely no idea what these people thought the mayor was going to do. Like, he was going to see all the complaints and go like, yes, it's now finally my time to step up and show the world my true power. He was going to walk outside, look directly at the moon, and say, you need to stop what you're doing. You're being extremely cringe. And the moon is going to hear that and go like, yes, I completely understand. This solar eclipse thing, it's just overrated. Should have ended 1,000 years ago. I'm going to go around the sun this time. And then everyone is going to clap because he saved America. Like, is that what they thought was going to happen? How is just one dude going to stop the solar eclipse? But all of those theories that ended up feeding you was just a snack, because the main reason why I wanted to talk about this is because I want to show more people probably one of my most favorite conspiracy theories that I ended up seeing in an extremely long time. Something that's going to be so cool that my camera decided that it's time for it to just randomly stop working. Yes, I thought I fixed this problem like a couple weeks ago, and I thought I'll never have to deal with it again, but I guess that was only like a temporary band-aid fix, because now it's back and it looks 2 times worse. But I'm gonna do what every single responsible adult does, and that is ignore their problems until it goes away, and by that, you just pretend it doesn't exist, and then it just consistently keeps on getting worse until it reaches a point where you can't ignore it anymore. That's what I'm gonna do, because I am responsible. So for me to talk about this theory, you're going to need to learn about a company known as Kerr. Now, I don't really know if that's the proper way you say their name. I feel like it's pronounced in a different way, but since I'm being extremely responsible, I'm just gonna do what everyone else does and just automatically assume that I'm right without double checking. Now, this is a company that specializes in nuclear research and also particle research, basically extremely smart people stuff. But one important thing that you need to know about them, that they own one of the biggest particle colliders in the world, because that whole device is where a lot of conspiracy theories ended up coming from. For example, one that was extremely big a couple years ago is that some people were saying that when that company was testing out the brand new particle collider, doing some test run, a weasel was somehow able to get inside of the device. Actually, I don't really remember what the animal was. I think it was a bunny. Actually, it doesn't matter. But an animal was able to get inside of the device. I have absolutely no idea how they were able to do that, because I'm pretty sure this is going to be a place that's going to be highly protected. But we are talking about an internet conspiracy theorist, and one thing that they don't like is facts and evidence. But an animal was able to get inside the collider. When they fired it, it merged with all the particles and ended up transporting us into the bad dimension. So if you're wondering why it seems like bad stuff just keeps on happening, it's because of that bunny who single-handedly transported all of us into the bad dimension. Which I know that's something that sounds absolutely insane. I probably explained the theory extremely badly. Don't worry, I'll probably do it better in the lore breakdown a little bit later in the future. But either way, I think you get the point. There's a lot of weird theories that come with this company. So it's really not surprising that when the solar eclipse ended up coming, a brand new one just spawned out of nowhere. And to see these brand new theories, you need to go on TikTok, because a couple of days before the eclipse, videos like this kept on being uploaded on the platform.
Is anybody aware that CERN's testing its Hadron Collider on the day of the total solar eclipse? Does nobody find this sketchy? To search for invisible matter that secretly powers our universe, aka dark matter. Do keep in mind, this is after a 2-year hibernation with hopes of unraveling more mysterious, specifically dark matter. Scientists just recently began preliminary tests by sending billions of protons around the LHC's ring of superconducting magnets to boost their energy and ensure the $4 billion machine was in working condition. And get this right, they're going to continue the experiment until later this year, when it will then be put under a long hibernation for CERN to transform it into the next version, the high luminosity LHC. Do keep in mind, the accelerator sits 300 feet underground at the border of France and Switzerland. And does nobody find it ironic that it first went live on September 10th, 2008, while everybody was distracted by the election?
Okay, so we have a lot of things to break down. One, I have absolutely no idea what the election have to do with any of this, because why would a European company care about the US election at the time? That just makes absolutely no sense. But every single conspiracy theory always just comes down to that. What's the next big thing that we can go to? It has to be something with the government. Watch out. You need to wake up. So I'm not surprised that this is the conclusion that he ended up coming to. And second, his whole plan on why this company is super suspicious is that they're using the device that they made. That's literally all the proof that he shows you. And the rest of the TikTok, he doesn't add anything else. All he's saying is that they've been using this for an extremely long time. That's pretty weird. But this time, they're going to be using it during the solar eclipse, which means something crazy is going to happen. And every single video of people talking about this device, they basically just follow this same format. I don't know who came up with it first, but they all basically just pumped the same thing over and over again. Now, what's the thing that you're trying to warn the world about? What's going to happen when they use this particle accelerator on the day of the solar eclipse? Well, apparently the conclusion that they ended up coming to is that when they use it, on that day, and they're going to tear open an interdimensional portal that's going to open a portal to hell, and then demons are going to escape from it and just completely destroy the world. Now, I think we all know, absolutely nothing happened. The solar eclipse came, it was dark for a couple of minutes, and then it ended, and absolutely no crazy world-changing event happened. But I think this whole event ended up kind of showing a lot of people the point we have reached in the world. And I don't know if it's something that's a good thing or bad, because one side of me knows that this is extremely bad, that people are now just actually believing everything. Like, I know I used to make that joke all the time, but it's actually just becoming reality. I truly do believe if you have enough of a following, you can just say anything. Something that just makes absolutely no sense. It doesn't even have to be convincing. Your video just needs to get like 1 million views, or your tweet just needs to blow up, and people will honestly just believe it. I can straight up say that tomorrow, the Has-Been Hotel is just gonna spawn in New York City, and you better watch out because you don't want to be on the list. They do some crazy stuff in there, and they will just be some people trying to prepare not to get sent to Has-Been Hotel, even though that's just not real, and that is really bad. But also it's extremely funny at the same time, because I get a lot of entertainment from actually seeing people really worried about a portal to hell randomly opening because a company decided to use a particle accelerator. But that's also something that's not really that good, so it is extremely scary, because it's only a matter of time until someone actually does something terrible because they just completely fell into just this garbage. Because I truly believe most of the people who are just pumping out this does not believe anything they're saying. I don't believe that this guy who made this TikTok actually thinks this company is doing something extremely scary. I just think he's saying this because it will get him a lot of views. But it's also extremely bad because although they might not be believing it, their followers are just eating it up, because there are generally some people in the comment section who actually thinks an interdimensional portal is going to happen and then something random is going to come out, and that's just extremely sad and also kind of funny. I'm not going to deny that it's a little bit funny, but it's bad though. Anyway, that's it. This is just something that I want to talk about. My name is Lua. You have a good day or night. See ya.